Vasudev. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. I welcome everyone for this special session on Bhisma Stuti. I thank the organizers who organized this session and requested me to speak on this wonderful topic. So this Bhishma Stuti comes in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam and the 9th chapter. So first canto of Bhagavatam is very deep, although it's the beginning portion of the book. Still, Vyasadeva has written this book in such a way that first canto presents very, very elevated subject matters. The first 3 chapters of the first canto describe the glory of Bhakti Yoga, glory of Bhagavan Krishna, and also glory of Srimad Bhagavatam as a wonderful scripture. And later 3 chapters of the first canto also present the glorious conversation that happened between Vyasadeva and Narada Muni, and how Bhagavatam actually took birth. Not Bhagavatam is unborn like Krishna, but how Bhagavatam in its current form is put into writing by Vyasadeva. What was the inspiration of Vyasadeva? Narada Muni inspires. Then from the 7th chapter onwards, we see the story of Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadeva Goswami. And while narrating the incidents that happened in Pandava's life, while narrating about the birth of Parikshit Maharaj, Suta Goswami also narrates the prayers of Queen Kunti and the departure of Bhishma in the 8th and 9th chapters of first canto. So prayers of Queen Kunti are very wonderfully described there, and they are explained so nicely by Prabhupada in his purports and many other acharyas also. And these prayers are very dear to several Vaishnavas. So devotees continue to seek great inspiration from these wonderful prayers. And Kunti Maharani's chapter is finished in the 8th. Kunti Maharani's prayers are completed in the 8th chapter. Now 9th chapter describes the whole episode of Bhishma. So at the end of 8th chapter, we see that Yudhishthira Maharaj was overwhelmed with guilt. He was feeling so morose, sad, that just to establish him as the king of Hastinapur, so many thousands and thousands of people have been killed on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So it's very surprising that Yudhishthira, who is supposed to be the king, has become so overwhelmed with guilt just after the war. It was a little too much. And Krishna tried to console him, but Yudhishthira is not getting consoled. And even Vyasadeva tried. No, Yudhishthira Maharaj was not pacified. Dhaumya tried. Nothing happened. So finally, Lord Krishna brought Yudhishthira Maharaj along with the Pandavas to Bhishma. At the time, Bhishma was lying on the bed of arrows, not roses, bed of arrows. So, and when he saw the Pandavas, he became so happy because Bhishma has seen Pandavas struggling so much because of the atrocities done by Duryodhan, Dushasan, Karna, Sakuni, supported by Dhritarashtra the king. So finally, in his final moments, when Krishna brought the Pandavas, Bhishma saw the Pandavas, he became so happy. Seeing great devotees like Pandavas in a position where they can rule and guide people on the right path. And a person like Duryodhan rules, my God. So he himself has demoniac qualities, selfish person. How much he will administer? And he may do the ritualistic, the other aspect of management, but as far as um, caring for the citizens is concerned, diverting them to some spiritual path is concerned, Duryodhana won't be able to do much. So, when Pandavas came in front of Bhishma, Bhishma first empathized with the Pandavas. He said that Aho Kashtam Aho Anyayam Yadyuyam Dharmanandana. So Dharmanandana, oh sons of Dharma, you have undergone so many difficulties, so many uh, custom difficulties, Anyayam, injustices. You faced all of them. But Vipra Dharmachyutashraya, because you all have taken shelter of Vipra, means Brahmanas or Vaishnavas, Dharma, the supreme Dharma of Bhakti Yoga, and Achyuta, Krishna. So because you have taken shelter of Dharma, Bhakti, Bhagavan, and Bhaktas, you have taken shelter of these three, you are always protected. And further, he said that actually all these sufferings are because of time. Okay. Sarvam kalakritam manye bhavatam chayata priyam sapalo yadvashe loko vayo rivaghana. Sarvam kala kritam manye. Everything is done by kala. Kala means time factor. So sapalo yad vashe loko vayoriva ghanavali means just like clouds cannot stay at one place. They just have to move from one place to another place according to the wind, the way wind blows. Similarly, nobody can enjoy in this material world forever. Even great rulers of different planets also are under the control of time factor. With the passage of time, they have to give up their opulent positions. Right? So time caused everything in your life. But how can time factor influence great devotees like Pandavas? No, it's not possible. It's not time factor, he said. Because you are directly supported by Krishna. So he said, the next sloka, Yatra Dharma Suto Raja Gada Panir Vrikodara Krishno Strigandivam Chapam Suhrit Krishna Stato Vipat. Yatra Dharma Suto Raja. Amongst the Pandavas, Dharma Suta, the son of Yama Dharmaraj, Yudhishthir Maharaj is there. He is the personification of Dharma. He is very mature in spiritual knowledge, spiritual wisdom. And Gadapanir Vrikodara, the most powerful Bhima, was also there. Bhima has the strength of 10,000 elephants in one arm, right? What does that mean? You keep 10,000 elephants in one row and Bhima would punch the first elephant and the 10,000 elephant in the row will fall down. Okay. You can just imagine what must have happened to the first elephant. So in this way, Bhima is so powerful. And Arjuna is so powerful. Krishnosti, Gandivam Chapam. He has this Gandiva bow. He is so powerful. He is a very celebrated warrior. And on top of all this, they had Krishna as their direct well-wisher. Still, they went through so many calamities, so many difficulties, so many atrocities. So, how is it possible? Then finally, Bhishma says that it is all because of Krishna's plan. Tasmad idam daivatantram. Everything is done by Krishna's inconceivable plan. And even great exalted personalities also cannot understand his plan. Nahiyasya karhi chitrajan puman veda vidhitsitam yadvijignyasaya yukta muhyanti kavayopihi. So, Bhishma says, even exalted personalities, even the great wise scholars and philosophers also get bewildered in trying to understand the inconceivable plans of Krishna. So it is Krishna's plan that you sit on the throne of Hastinapur, you please rule. So then Yudhishthir Maharaj is pacified. And at this moment, Bhishma glorifies Krishna. So Bhishma Stuti begins from here. Actually, there is after a few verses, it again begins more deeply. But at this moment, from the 18th shloka onwards, we see Bhishma beginning to glorify Lord Krishna. He says, Yesha vai Bhagavan Sakshat Adyo Narayana Kuman Mohayan Mayaya Lokam Gudhascharati Vishnisham. Yeshavai Bhagavan Sakshat, this personality who is sitting here with a blackish complexion, with a yellow dhoti, with a peacock feather on his head, is not an ordinary person. You are considering him your maternal cousin. But he is Bhagavan, he is the supreme Bhagavan, the supreme possessor of all divine opulences, right? And Adyo Narayana Kumar, he is the original Narayana. So Mohayan Mayaya Lokam, he is bewildering people in this material world by wandering like a human being in Vrishni dynasty. Right? Vodhascharati Vrishni. Right? He said like this. So he understood, Bhishma understood the exalted position of Krishna. Mahajans only can understand Shiva, Narada, Kapila, and Bhishma, such great personalities, Yamadharmaraj, they all can understand the position of Krishna. Not everyone can understand. So Krishna, Sarvatmanaha, Krishna is present within the hearts of all living beings. Sarvatmanaha, Samadrishaha, is equally kind to everyone. Anahankritehi, Anavadyasya, he has absolutely no faults in his character, in his personality, and his freedom is freed from Ahankara, the false ego of differentiating between people. So Krishna is completely faultless, right? So that's the glory of Krishna. And Bhishma, although he was fighting on the side of Duryodhana, he perfectly understood the position of Krishna, qualities of Krishna, and is a great devotee of Krishna. He had devotion. So, if you see, Bhishma is misunderstood by some people. Bhishma is such a wonderful, great personality. Why should he fight on the side of adharma, against dharma? How can he stand in front of Krishna and Arjuna and fight against them? Why should he fight on the side of Duryodhana? And how can we accept him as Mahajan? Some people may have this question. But you see, Bhishma himself says in this shloka, Tathapi ekanta bhakteshu Pashya Bhupanukampitam Yanme Ashumschidatah Sakshat Krishna Darshanamagataha. He said, Tathapi Ekanta Bhakteshu. Although Krishna is completely faultless, he has come to me now to bless me in my last moments. Tathapi Ekanta Bhakteshu. Ekanta Bhakta means unflinching devotee. And Bhishma is that unflinching devotee. Pashya, to see that unflinching devotee Bhishma, Bhupanukampitam, Anukampitam, to show compassion on that person, Yan may assumes Kejataha Sakshat, when I am giving up my life, Krishna Darshanam Agataha. Krishna has come here to give me darshan. See, if Bhishma was not an exalted devotee, why would Krishna personally come and give his darshan to Bhishma in his last moments? That should make us understand. That should make us appreciate Bhishma's glorious position. So Bhishma is a very, very exalted personality. He's a great Mahajan. That's why Krishna has come. So sometimes devotees are put in certain circumstances where they are misunderstood by common people. But Krishna reveals the glories of those devotees when the right time comes. So, people will misunderstand him, but Krishna waits for the right moment so that entire world, entire universe will know the glories of those devotees. So in Bhishma's case, we see that Krishna could not convince Yudhishthira Maharaj. Vyasadeva, Dhaumya and several great personalities could not convince and pacify Yudhishthira Maharaj when he was overwhelmed with grief. He was confused. Oh, because of me only so much of massacre has happened. He was feeling guilty. So to pacify Yudhishthira Maharaj, to counsel Yudhishthira Maharaj is not a small thing. And especially when Krishna and Vyasadeva failed, who will come forward to counsel Yudhishthira Maharaj? Yudhishthira himself is a wonderful personality. He was not a new bhakta where you can give him some suggestion and pacify and counsel that person. He's not like that. So to counsel Yudhishthira Maharaj is a very, very great thing. And Krishna made Bhishma do it in front of Krishna, in front of Vyasa. So when Bhishma was counseling Yudhishthira Maharaj, you know who were there? Krishna was there, Vyasa, Gauranga, uh, Sukadeva Goswami was there, Vishwamitra was there, Jamadagni was there, Parashuram was there. So all great, Narada Muni, all great universal celebrities, the sages and great wise sages have assembled there. So in front of so many people, to give a class, to give a philosophical class, to give some philosophical teachings, that to pacify Yudhishthira Maharaj is not a small thing. Okay, Bhishma did. So although Bhishma fought on the side of Adharma, although Bhishma was lying on a bed of arrows in the battle of Kurukshetra with every inch of his body pierced with so many arrows, he is a wise person. He is a great devotee. Krishna wanted to announce the glories of Bhishma Dev to the entire universe at this moment. That's why he has personally come and he made Bhishma speak like this. We should not misunderstand Krishna. We should not feel that, oh, Krishna is not merciful. Actually, why Bhishma fought on the side of Adharma? He is a devotee. Because Krishna wanted to show this, give this important lesson to the entire humanity. However great you may be, however powerful and exalted you may be, if you take the side of Adharma, you have to be defeated. Even if it is Bhishma, you have to be defeated. So Krishna wanted to give this lesson to the entire creation, so to all of us. And he used Bhishma as an instrument. Bhishma, you are a popular warrior. If you take side of Adharma and if you get defeated in the war, then people will understand that we should not take side of Adharma. Even Bhishma also will be defeated, so I should not take side of Adharma. So just to educate common people, educate all of us, Krishna used Bhishma as an instrument in his hands. So this is how devotees are very humble to become humble instruments in the hands of Krishna. Krishna's intention is to educate common people, and devotees very humbly participate in the endeavor of Krishna. So Bhishma says, Bhaktya mano yasmin vacha yannama kirtayan yajan kalevaram yogi muchyate kama karmabhi. Yajan kalevaram yogi. When this Bhakti Yogi, this Bhishma, was departing from this material world, this body, Krishna has come there to give him darshan. Okay, and Bhishma says, Vacha yannama kirtayan, may my tongue get engaged in the glorification of Krishna. And finally, Bhishma says, Sadeva Devo Bhagavan Pratikshata Kalevaram Yavadidam Hinomyaham Prasannaha Sarunalochanollasan Mukhambujo Dhyana Pataschaturбhujah. Sadeva Devo Bhagavan Pratikshata. Let that Bhagavan Krishna do pratiksha for me. Let him wait for me. Okay. Kalevaram Yavadidam Hinomyaham. As I am leaving this body, as I am departing from this material body, from this material realm, let that Bhagavan Krishna wait for me with a pleasing smile. So, some people may think that Bhishma has been waiting for Uttarayana time to come so that he can depart from this world. Uttarayana time is auspicious, okay? As Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita. So, when Bhishma was giving all his teachings to Yudhishthira Maharaj, this Uttarayana time came. It's very auspicious time. So many mystic yogis desire to give up their bodies at the time of Uttarayana. So Bhishma is waiting for Uttarayana. Some people may think that. But actually Bhishma was not waiting for Uttarayana to come. He was waiting for Uttarayana to come. He was not waiting for Uttarayana time to come. He was waiting for Uttarayana person to come. Who is that person? Krishna. Krishna, one of the names of Krishna is Uttarayana. Uttara Ayana. Ayana means to give shelter. So Krishna has given shelter to Mother Uttara. And Uttara came running for the shelter of Krishna. Krishna, there is an embryo, there is my little child in my womb. and somebody has sent a Brahmastra to kill the child in my womb. Please provide me shelter. Please protect my son. So Krishna has given shelter to Uttara. That's why he's called Uttarayana. Uttarayana has another meaning. Ayana is shelter. Uttara is Uttara, Mother Uttara. So shelter, right? So Krishna is called Uttarayana also because Krishna has taken shelter of Uttara's womb. Krishna has given shelter of Uttara, he is called Uttarayana. Krishna has taken shelter of Uttara's womb because he entered the womb of Uttara, right? To protect Parikshit. Means he has taken shelter of Uttara's womb. In that sense, also is Uttarayana. So Bhisma is waiting for this Uttarayana, not that Uttarayana. He's not waiting for Uttarayana Kala time. He was actually waiting for Krishna to come because he knows, he's confident. Your devotee is confident that Krishna will definitely come to bless me. Bhishma was defeated in the war. Every inch of his body was pierced by Arjuna's arrows. He was lying on the battlefield. Everybody got dispersed. See, such a, externally speaking, it's a very painful situation. He did not even die, okay, by that time. So people will think that, oh my God, such a wonderful warrior. See how he died. This is how he died on the battlefield. Alone. No. Actually, Krishna is waiting for the moment to reveal the glories of Bhishma to the entire universe. So, how knowledgeable Bhishma was, how devoted Bhishma was. Krishna wanted to reveal this to the whole world in front of the universal celebrities. So, our Bhishma's knowledge is revealed, his wisdom is revealed when he taught all kinds of dharmas, Stri dharma, Varnashrama dharma, Raja dharma, Dana dharma, ultimately Bhagavata dharma to Yudhishthira Maharaj. His knowledge, his wisdom is revealed. And he's meditating and offering prayers to Krishna, his devotion is revealed. So, wisdom wise and devotion wise, Bhishma is so exalted when Krishna wanted to announce this to the whole world. So, now Bhishma begins to offer his prayers. So, first Bhishma says, let me invest my thinking, feeling, and willing completely in that Supreme Lord Krishna. So he is the leader of all devotees. So he has come to my place now when I'm departing this world. Krishna has come here very mercifully. Let me invest my thinking, feeling, willing completely. He enlightened Yudhishthira Maharaj. Now all his responsibilities in this life are completely fulfilled. He's in his last moments. So he was thinking that now I have nothing else to do in life. Let me meditate on Krishna. Krishna has come to me. Let me invite him. My master has come to me very mercifully in my last moments. Let me invite him. Let me give him the gift of my thoughts, my feelings, my desires, my emotions. Let me invest all my thinking and feeling in Krishna. Let me just meditate on Krishna, do nothing else. And what is the nature of Bhishma's thoughts? The nature of Bhishma's thoughts is that he has love for Krishna. He has rati for Krishna in his form as Partha Sarathi, in his form as Vijaya Sakha. So, Tribhuvana Kamanam Tamalavarnam Ravikara Gauravarambaram Dadhani Vapuralaga Kula Vritananabjam Vijaya Sakhe Ratirastume Anavadya. So Vijaya Sakhe Ratirastume Anavadya. Let that Vijaya Sakha, Vijaya is one who is victorious, Arjuna. Vijaya Sakha is friend of Arjuna, that is Krishna. So Krishna likes to be addressed in relationship with his devotees. So Bhishma addressed Krishna as Vijaya Sakha, and he said that Tribhuvana Kamanam Tamara Varnam Ravikara Gaura Parambaram Dadhani. They let that Supreme Lord Krishna give me darshan. And Tamala Varnam, he is in the complexion of Tamala tree, which is blue complexion of Tamala tree. Okay. So Ravikara Gaura Varambaram Dadhani. He is wearing a wonderful cloth, yellowish cloth that is shining in the sun. Ravi, as the sun is setting, his clothes are also shining, and his beautiful face is nicely framed with curly locks. Right? So May I have Rati for the Vijaya Sakha. So, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Krishna was more merciful to Bhishma than Arjuna. Because Krishna was driving the chariot of Arjuna. Arjuna was in the chariot behind Krishna. And Bhishma was in front of the chariot facing Krishna, before Krishna. So Krishna's darshan is constantly available for Bhishma, not Arjuna. Arjuna was only seeing Krishna from behind, but Bhishma was able to see Krishna from front. So Bhishma is more fortunate. Right? So Bhishma is definitely a Dasya Bhakta. He has like the mentality of a servant of Krishna, but he wants to serve Krishna in a particular flavor. The secondary rasa there is Virya rasa, the mood of chivalry. He wants to see Krishna as a warrior, and he wants to fight with Krishna. As he's throwing his arrows on Arjuna, some arrows go on Krishna also, and there is some transcendental blood that comes out of Krishna's body, and there is some transcendental perspiration that is there, that is seen on Krishna's face. So, Bhishma likes this darshan. Prabhupada says, just like some devotees offer flowers to Krishna, patram pushpam phalam toyam, they worship Krishna like that. Bhishma also worships Krishna with arrows, not with flowers exactly. Okay. Yudhi Dwaraga Rajo Vidhumra Vishwak Kuchalalita Kuchalulita Shram Smaravas Shramavari Alankrishi Alankrashi Mama Nishita Sharair Vividhyamana Tvachi Vilasat Kavachestu Krishna Atma. So let my mind go unto Krishna on the battlefield. Yudhi Dwaraga Rajo Vidhumra Vishwak. So he on the Yuddha Bhumi, in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he is holding reins of horses who were driving the chariot, who tied to the chariot. And his face was filled with sweat. His skin was wounded by the sharp arrows of Bhishma. Bhishma is relishing that darshan. So may I have Rati for Parthasaka. May he be the object of my attraction. May his lotus feet be the object of my attraction. So Bhima is such a, Arjuna is such a wonderful devotee. Krishna wanted to protect Arjuna in all ways. And one day, Bhishma took a vow in front of Duryodhana. Duryodhana said, Bhishma, you are such a wonderful warrior, but although so many days passed, still you could not kill Arjuna. You could not kill any of the Pandavas. What is this? He became a little upset with Bhishma, and he even blamed Bhishma, saying that you are showing partiality. You are partial towards the Pandavas. You are not showing your full power. Duryodhana said like this, Bhishma became angry and grave and said that tomorrow I'll kill the Pandavas. Here are the 5 arrows. With these 5 arrows, I'm going to kill the 5 Pandavas. This is my plan. Unless Krishna intervenes, Krishna has actually taken a vow not to pick up a weapon. Unless Krishna picks up a weapon on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, tomorrow I'm going to definitely kill the 5 Pandavas. And Bhishma took this vow. Duryodhana said, my dear grandfather, give me those 5 arrows. I will keep them safely in my camp, in my room. And tomorrow I'll give you. Tomorrow morning before going to the war, I'll give you. Then Duryodhana took the arrows. Then Krishna understood. Oh, Duryodhana is having those 5 arrows, which is Bhishma is going to kill the 5 Pandavas. Bhishma is a powerful warrior. His vow should not be compromised. And Krishna, being an affectionate lord of even Bhishma, he has to protect the vow of Bhishma. So the blame should go on Duryodhana. Okay. So he had sent Arjuna to Duryodhana's camp. So Duryodhana saw Arjuna and said, "Oh, Arjuna, come here." Because he has to show hospitality. He has been enemy. Tell me what do you want? What can I do? I can stop this war also. If you want. Like he did not say anything, but suddenly some kind of hospitality came in his mind. See, demonic people are little unpredictable. But anyways, he received Arjuna nicely and asked him, "What do you want?" Then Arjuna said, "I want those 5 arrows. Bhisma's 5 arrows." Then Duryodhana promised, so he gave 5 arrows. Earlier, Duryodhana did not give 5 villages. Now he gave 5 arrows because he promised. So, demonic people cannot be trusted. Anyways, he gave the 5 arrows. And Arjuna just got the 5 arrows. Next day morning, Bhishma came to Duryodhana and said, "Give me the 5 arrows. I will be Pandavas today." Duryodhana said, "No, these 5 arrows are taken by Arjuna. I don't have them." Then Bhishma understood, "Oh, this is Krishna's plan, master plan to protect the Pandavas." See, Krishna is so affectionate towards the Pandavas. So Bhishma was the servant of Krishna and he appreciated Krishna's quality, Krishna's love and affection for the Pandavas. Still, being a devotee BVRC, Bhishma also said, "Okay, today let me see how Krishna is going to protect Arjuna." He fought. Uh, he fought with Arjuna. At one moment, he was about to kill Arjuna. Then Krishna became upset. Krishna was brought down from his chariot and picked up a chariot wheel and started charging towards Bhishma. Because earlier Bhishma has taken a vow. Unless Krishna picks up a weapon, nobody can protect Arjuna today. He has taken a vow. So Krishna has to protect Arjuna. And Krishna also has to protect Bhishma's vow. So the only means he had is to compromise on his own vow. He has taken a vow, "I will not pick up a weapon." So Krishna has taken a vow not to pick up a weapon. But unless he picks up a weapon, Arjuna cannot be saved. Because Bhishma has taken a vow. So he has to protect his vow. He has to protect Arjuna's life. He also has to protect Bhishma's life, Bhishma's vow. So see, Krishna also sometimes has to fall into some tricky situations where he has to protect his vow and he has to protect devotees' vows also, devotees' lives also. So that's why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, "Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhaktah pranasya." My devotees will never perish. Kaunteya, Arjuna, you go and declare. If I declare, I have a tendency to compromise on my own vows. But if my devotee declares, I have to protect the declaration of devotee. I have to protect the words of my devotee. That's why the Lord came in the form of Narasimhadev. Prahlad said, "Yes, my Lord is there in this pillar also, definitely. You can see, open the pillar and see." And with his fist, Hiranyakashipu just broke the pillar, just to make the words of Prahlad true. So, what is that shloka? Shloka is Satyam Vidhatam Nijabhritya Bhashitam. So, to make the words of devotee Prahlad true, Lord Narasimhadev manifested from the pillar. So he came out of the pillar and killed Narasimha, killed Hiranyakashipu. Similarly, the Lord wants to protect the vows of his devotee, words of his devotee. So he wanted to protect the words of Bhishma, so he picked up, not a weapon exactly, chariot wheel, but he picked up something to charge against. So Bhishma said, "Okay, I'll not kill Arjuna." Because Krishna picked up quote unquote weapon. Actually speaking, this Ratha Chakra, this one chariot wheel cannot be called as a weapon as such. It's not a weapon. Nobody fights with Ratha Chakra. Krishna picked it up and Abhimanyu also fought. Here, Abhimanyu also fought with that because he didn't have anything else to do. Anything, any other weapon is not there. So, uh, so to protect Arjuna's life, Krishna had to pick up chariot and to protect Bhishma's vow. Now, apparently, you see, Krishna picked up a chariot wheel and charging towards Bhishma. If you see that beautiful picture, you will think that, "Oh, Krishna loves Arjuna more than Bhishma." You think like that. Actually, Krishna loves Bhishma. That's what Bhishma wanted in Virya. Let Krishna pick up a weapon. Then I will give up my vow. So I will stop killing Arjuna. So by picking up chariot wheel and quote unquote angrily charging towards Bhishma, Krishna is exhibiting his love towards Bhisma also. Krishna is respecting the vow of Bhisma more than his own love. So Krishna is simultaneously exhibiting love for both of his devotees, Arjuna and Krishna. He loves both of them. So Bhishma remembers all these incidents that have happened on the battlefield because Bhishma is a, is a devotee in BVRC. He likes to see Krishna fighting. Okay, so at the end of his life, after he gave up his body, he went to Parthasarathi planet, where he is eternally seeing Krishna as the chariot driver of Arjuna. So, sacrificing his own promise just to fulfill his desire, Bhishma's desire, Krishna ran towards Bhishma with a chariot wheel. That started shaking, and his outer garment just fell down. Okay, so that's such a wonderful, beautiful scene. May I have Rati, attraction for the Parthasarathi. May I have Rati for Parthasarathi. Okay, so he stood with the whip in his hand, and the reins in the left hand. He was carefully protecting Arjuna's chariot, and he was also awarding liberation to all the people who are giving up their lives on the battle of Kurukshetra. Shloka comes Anubhavas section. Shloka is Tathaiva Chanye Naralokaviraya Ahave Krishna Mukharavindam Netraihi Pibantyo Nayanabhiramam Parthastra Padama Purasya Tathaiva Chanye Naralokaviraya Ahave Krishna. All the Naralokavira, all the great warriors in this sacred planet have gathered, have assembled at Kurukshetra war, and they are seeing the beautiful form of Krishna. Ahave Krishna Mukharavindam. Just imagine how Krishna is merciful not only to the people fighting on the side of Pandavas, he is merciful towards the opponents also, opposite armies also. Because they are dying seeing Krishna. Krishna is giving them darshan. Ahave Krishna Mukharavindam. Netrai pibanto nayana bhiramam. So the beautiful face of Krishna, the beauty of Krishna, they are drinking with their eyes. Netrai pibanto nayana abhiramam. Parthastra putam padama purasya. They are also being purified by the astras, arrows of Arjuna. And they all went to their spiritual goals. So Krishna is remembering this in his prayers. He says that, oh, Krishna is mercifully giving mukti, liberation to people who are dying in front of him in the battle. So many shlokas, Bhishma is just speaking, glorifying Krishna's connection with Arjuna. And Krishna may ask, so, do you think Arjuna is the greatest devotee? You are glorifying Arjuna so much, and you are glorifying me in relationship with Arjuna so much. Is he the greatest of all my devotees? Then Bhishma says, no. Actually, gopis are the highest. Gopis of Vrindavan are the topmost devotees of Krishna. So Bhishma says this. Their love service is supreme because you dance with them in the Rasa Leela. They are the topmost of your devotees. But I am not so qualified to describe Gopi's love for him. Rajasuya sacrifice, Bhishma witnessed Arjuna being worshipped by great kings and sages, most exalted, dexterous creation of Brahma. People thought that Krishna must be a creation of Brahma. They thought it's not so. But Rajasuya sacrifice, Krishna was resplendent on the big altar or Simhasana, where he was Agra Puja, the first worship of Yudhishthira. So now Bhishma is meditating on that form of Krishna in Rajasuya sacrifice. Now let me meditate completely on Krishna. Let me completely transcend all my misconceptions of duality. Let Krishna be the object of my vision. Once Bhishma completely immersed his body, mind, and speech and sight in Krishna, and we can silence and stop the this way in scripture. So this is how Bhisma had this glorious departure. Although some people may misunderstand some certain personalities, judge them based on their external activities. We see the intentions of a person behind these activities. We understand their goal. Bhishma participated in the war of Kurukshetra against the Pandavas on the side of Duryodhana. His intention was to fulfill the desire of Krishna. It's Krishna who wanted Bhishma to behave like. Because Krishna wanted to teach all of us. If you are as exalted as Bhishma, you cannot be spared. You cannot attain any success if you stand against them. That's the lesson that Krishna wanted to give the entire humanity. So Krishna used Bhishma as an instrument. Bhishma humbly played the role of an instrument. This is how devotees are very malleable with the will of Krishna. Malleability makes the devotee very dear to Krishna. Bhishma is a very Mahajan, so malleable with the will of God. With these words, I conclude this short, brief overview of the prayers of Bhishma. Srimad Bhagavatam.
Gauranga Darshan, thank you. Thank you so much. This is Prajumna Das here. Thank you so much for taking us through the insight to the prayers of Bhishma Dev there. I really appreciated. The one thing that really stood out for me was my appreciation of how you clarified the very special position of Bhishma Dev, because that is very often a doubt that arises. But another doubt within this, and it's an often asked question, and I want to ask it again because I appreciate the depth of study and insight that you bring in the glorification and study of Srimad Bhagavatam. And that doubt is Bhishma's position during the Draupadi's disrobing. And where very often this comes up, and very often we hear the different perspectives, and very often we hear the position of Bhishma in relation to the Kuru dynasty and so on and so on. But given the time and the depth of study that you have invested in, is there could you share how we work on this particular doubt in relationship to the Mahajan of Bhishma Dev?
Bhishma Dev definitely desired that Draupadi not be disrobed, not be insulted so publicly. Certainly. However, physically, he did not take any action like as such visibly. So he tried to say something like quoting the often quoted reason is obligation. He is loyal to the throne of Hastinapur, and Hastinapur management has taken a decision he should not do against it. But the understanding of Vaishnavas, Bhishmas or Dronas or even not taking any active action to stop this disrobing, to prove that Krishna is the supreme. In short, and every single power and force in the entire creation fails to protect a devotee. Krishna is still there. Gajendra's case, you see, Gajendra, himself was so strong. He was fighting to release himself from this crocodile, and he was fighting for 1,000 years. Nothing has happened. And he's surrounded by so many powerful elements who are very compassionate and Gajendra. They have the capacity, they did not have the capacity to protect Gajendra, but they had the compassion. And so many devatas in the spiritual world are also watching in the heavenly planets. Brahma, Shiva, Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Vayu, so many people are watching. They all had the ability to protect Gajendra. They had the capacity to protect Gajendra. They did not have the intention or compassion to protect us. They had ability, they did not have intention. They had capacity, they did not have compassion. And on the other hand, these elephants, they had intention, they had compassion, but they did not have capacity or ability. But Krishna had. So some people may not choose to protect us, although they have the ability to protect us. Some people, although they want to protect us, they may not be willing to protect us. But it is Krishna who has both ability and intention, capacity and compassion to protect us in all circumstances. So that Krishna sending that sari or coming in the form of sari to protect the honor of Mother Draupadi is a proof that Krishna is the ultimate protector. And although Bhisma had the ability to protect, has the intention to protect, ultimately he did not protect. Just to prove that Krishna is the supreme protector. Right? That's the Vaishnava understanding of this whole thing. Now you see, Bhrigu Muni wanted to test who is supreme amongst these three personalities. Who are they? Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. In popular narration, the 10th kind of Bhagavatam also. So Bhrigu Muni went to Brahmaloka. He did not offer obeisances to Brahma. And Brahma was slightly hesitated by this mental offense. Bhrigu understood, this is Vishnu got offended or hesitated or disturbed, he will not be accepted. Then Bhrigu went to Shiva, and Shiva came to embrace Bhrigu. And Bhrigu said, "Hey, you are so unclean, you are in crematorium, you are surrounded with ghosts and hobgoblins and this and that." And he spoke some insulting words. He kind of he committed a verbal offense to Shiva. Shiva took his Trishula, Shiva took his trident to kill Bhrigu. Now you see, how can Shiva respond to this? Daksha was chastising him, scolding him in public, and cursing him. Did Shiva respond? Shiva was very patient, so sober, so silent. He did not counter curse, he did not counteract, he did not speak a single word to defend himself. And when Nandi is trying to defend himself and he was chastising Daksha and all, Shiva just got up and left from there to stop this cursing and counter cursing. So now such a tolerant Shiva, such a sober and grave Shiva, why should he take a trident to kill Bhrigu Muni? He could have taken the trident to punish Daksha, but he did not do so because Shiva had tolerance. But why did he not exhibit the tolerance in the case of Bhrigu? Why did he take a trident to kill Bhrigu? Answer is, Shiva understood the intention of Bhrigu. Bhrigu is coming to test all three deities. Who are the three deities? Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. So he's trying to test who is the supreme. Of course, I am not the supreme. He is the supreme. Vishnu is the supreme. Why should I should not even be in this competition only? Let me eliminate myself. How will I eliminate? If I show anger, then he will not consider me supreme at all. So, although he had the ability to tolerate, he purposefully did not exhibit tolerance to glorify the Lord. So, when devotees, although they have ability to take certain stands and do something, to counteract the situation, they cannot do so sometimes, so that Krishna can come and do something. Krishna will do that. Krishna's protective ability can be understood by all people, all generations to come. Prabhupada says, Balaram could have killed all the demons that Krishna had. I agree them Krishna only has to kill. Vatsasur, Bakasur, Putana, Pranavarta, Sakatasur, Arishtasur, Vyomasur, Keshasur, all the demons Krishna had to kill. And Balaram can go and kill them, right? He already killed Pralambasur and Hirukasur. Because Krishna allowed him to kill. And other demons Krishna wanted to kill. And Balaram is, although he has ability, he is just supporting him. He is supporting Krishna. Krishna is the main hero in all the pastimes of Krishna. So Balaram is just support. Krishna desires, he will do something. Krishna doesn't desire, he will just play with Krishna. That's all. As an elder brother, he will protect Krishna, he will serve Krishna, he will massage Krishna. So it's not exactly the ability of a devotee to do something. It's also their intention to glorify Krishna, etc. Does it make sense to you? So in Draupadi's case, Bhishma's not protecting Draupadi despite having ability to protect Draupadi gives all of us an opportunity to understand that Krishna is the supreme protector. Do you get understanding? I hope it makes sense.
Oh, very much. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. I very much appreciate the perspective of intention and ability, though it is hard to understand how his intention to just sit there because he wants to glorify Krishna and allow Krishna to take that supreme protecting position. But thank you for that perspective. And I very much like the example of Lord Shiva as well there, that he wasn't tolerant because of glorifying Vishnu. Thank you so much for that. And I just want to take this opportunity to thank you for all the study guides that you have produced and keep producing. So thank you so much for your contribution to support our own study of the scriptures. And we hope to have you back for our Sunday morning class again very, very soon. Thank you so much for giving your time today, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna devotees, if you have any questions, please come forward, unmute yourself and ask questions to Gauranga Darshan Prabhu. It's a wonderful opportunity to clarify our doubts. It looks like everyone is satisfied. Thank you so much, Gauranga Darshan Prabhu, for your time and wonderful class. I wish you a very happy new year. His Grace Gauranga Darshan Prabhu ki jai. Thank you everyone for participating.
Yeah.